How was 2022 different from previous years? Certainly a standout change was the large increase in electricity and gas prices that a lot of the world has been hit by. That's why Loxone back in November had the energy focus releasing 5 products in 5 weeks to combat these costs. We want to show that investing in building automation can firstly pay back the investor in a very short period of time and secondly can add a lot more functionality for a small amount of money. The building behind me is a shopping center in Lublin, which our partner from Arbor Energy, Michał, optimized for the investor.
Zoptymalizował dla inwestora.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the boiler room of our building, where one of the 2 Loxone mini servers is that we installed for this project, and I'm going to give you a brief demonstration of what this mini server integrates, what it connects to, and what it controls. First of all, this boiler room is not a typical boiler room. We have several heat sources here. The first basic heat source that we're going to use now is gas cogeneration, which is made up of 2 gas cogenerators, one with an electrical output of 50 kilowatts, the other with an electrical output of 30 kilowatts. As well as producing electricity, they also produce heat. The larger of the cogenerators produces about 100 kilowatts of heat, the smaller about 70 kilowatts. In addition to the heat sources, behind your back is a cascade of gas boilers and a cascade of heat pumps. The total capacity we have installed in this system far exceeds our needs. However, the owner has deliberately made the installation such that it is independent of changes in energy prices.
Żeby być niezależnym od zmian cen energii. Jakie są zadania instalacji Loxone? Oprócz opomiarowania całego układu, czyli mamy tutaj ciepłomierze, licznik energii elektrycznej na pompy, licznik energii elektrycznej na pompki obiegowe, Loxone ma za zadanie wybierać...
What are the challenges of installing Loxone? In addition to metering the entire system, we have heat meters, an electric meter for the pumps, and an electric meter for the circulators. Loxone has the task of selecting which heat source to run, i.e. which source is the cheapest at the moment. It should be added that from next year, purchases of electricity and gas in this facility will be made on the spot market, where prices are set a day in advance. Every hour of the year will have a price. As we know, this year the fluctuation in electricity prices has been very high. During one day in the summer months, it happened that energy cost 700 Polish zloty, around £130 or $160 per megawatt hour at noon, and almost 3,000 Polish zloty, around £560 or $690 in the evening. In our opinion, a 2, 3 or even 4-fold price difference during the day is now the norm and may become more and more frequent in the future. So the system therefore determines for each hour what the optimal way of covering the energy and heat needs will be. In addition to the cogenerators that produce this electricity and will serve our purposes, we also have a 50 kilowatts photovoltaic installation and solar collectors. It should be added that there is another unusual source of energy. Behind the wall are the condensers of the refrigeration system, which take heat from the refrigerators in the supermarket. This heat, in the form of hot water at temperatures of 45 to even 70 degrees Celsius, also powers our system. We're almost a year into testing. This year, from March to now, mid-November, not once has any additional source of emissions been activated. We haven't run any cogenerators, heat pumps or gas boilers. All the thermal energy that is currently consumed is generated by heat recovery and solar collectors. Even in summer we do not have a surplus of energy, as this boiler room also supplies the car wash, which is located outside. The car wash needs heat all year round. The heart of the system is the buffer tank. The buffer tank has a capacity of 4 cubic meters. This large tank can hold 4 tons of water. It is the heart of the system. Each of the energy sources that I have mentioned, collectors, heat pumps, gas boilers, heat recovery and cogeneration, supplies this large reservoir. This is where all the heat from all the systems mixes and drives several other things.
i z tego zbiornika zasilanych jest kilka innych rzeczy. Co jest zasilane? Tutaj jeśli sobie spojrzymy na ten rozdzielacz, to widzimy, że są pompy obiegowe i z tego zbiornika
What is fed?
jest ogrzewanie.
If we look at this piping, we see the circulators. The storage tank is fed the heating for the whole building, divided into 3 zones. In addition, the domestic hot water tank, a smaller 500-litre tank, and the dishwasher is fed, as I mentioned earlier. The whole Loxone system is equipped with over 20 temperature sensors, so we know where the heat is coming from and what temperatures we have in the storage tank. We use what's called the stratification effect, so those heat sources that give us lower parameters are fed to the bottom of this tank where the temperature is lower. Those that produce higher temperature heat, such as cogeneration, are fed in at the top. The temperature difference between the bottom and the top of this tank is up to 15 degrees. The work on the whole system took about 2 to 3 months. We are constantly adding something new. Currently we are trying to ensure that the operation of the systems is independent of external factors such as lack of power or voltage. Not everything is completed yet. The system and the layout are constantly evolving.
Braków zasilań, napięć i tak dalej. No i to nie jest jeszcze koniec, cały czas system i układ jest rozbudowywany.
Jeżeli myślicie Państwo o
If you are considering any changes to your company that would lead to savings and cost reductions in energy and district heating, then certainly one of the key elements in doing this is to analyze your building's requirements and optimize your equipment selection to what you want to achieve. From my experience, my most important recommendation is, before any design work, an estimation of what equipment you would potentially like to use and its cost. It is key that you carry out an in-depth analysis of the energy and heat requirements of the building you are looking to implement the system in. So for our shopping center building, we selected the elements that were most optimal and efficient for this use case. If anyone wonders whether cost optimization is necessary these days, I can say with a clear conscience that it certainly is. However, the trick is not to invest as little as possible in improving the efficiency of the building, but instead the trick is to invest in such a way that your return on investment is as quick and efficient as possible. This is the smartest way to invest as you recuperate your money in a relatively short period of time, and from then on you are laughing.
Sumieniem powiedzieć, że jak najbardziej tak, natomiast nie sztuką jest wydać pieniądze w błoto, tylko sztuką jest wydać je w taki sposób, żeby ta stopa zwrotu z oszczędności była jak najkrótsza i jak najbardziej efektywna. Myśmy się do tego projektu przygotowywali w ciągu...
We have been preparing for this project for 2 years, by analyzing and selecting the right equipment for us that was on the market, but practically every year there were completely new solutions in terms of energy efficiency. So to combat this rapid development, we came up with some criteria that were key for us, so that the choice could become clearer. These criteria were as follows. Firstly, all the systems have to work together. Secondly, they all have to work with Loxone. And thirdly, we get the maximum benefit possible, and that full automation makes it easier for us to operate the system. I would really like to motivate everybody to make sure that all buildings are built in this way, that is, that they are built in an environmentally friendly manner. Of course, the most optimal solution would be for the building to be 100% self-sufficient. Unfortunately, that will not be possible until we have alternative energy sources so that buildings can operate completely off-grid.
Alternatywnych źródeł energii, gdzie takie budynki będą mogły pracować off-gridowo. Budynek jest...
This building complex is a service and commercial building. There are tenants in the building who are really taking full advantage of the energy cost savings via the solutions that are in place by utilizing them to the fullest. Above all, the tenants have learned to use and optimize their energy consumption more efficiently, which is great for the environment. Secondly, they have lower business costs because of this, which is a great incentive, as this translates into great competitiveness in relation to other facilities and price competition in the Lublin area, which ultimately is translating into providing lower prices for the local residents who come to shop in this building. It is a kind of symbiosis. Thanks to my investments, I have made big savings on the facility, but at the same time, the tenants and locals have also benefited greatly from the lower costs.
Ja dzięki swoim inwestycjom poczyniłem duże oszczędności na obiekcie, ale jednocześnie w kolejnym ogniwem są najemcy, którzy naturalnie również z tych korzyści niższych kosztów korzystają.
Znajdujemy się w rozdzielni głównej, gdzie znajduje się drugi z mini serwerów.
We are now looking at the main cabinet where the second mini server is located. This mini server is used to operate the electricity meter, which is located in these cabinets. Since there are several tenants in the building using the Loxone system, it allows us to easily build them for utilities. Each of the tenants can know when they use energy, how much they use, how they use it, and have online access to their own consumption data. We also have the Fronius inverters that I mentioned in the boiler room. You can also find the tree and air extensions. The air extension is used to communicate with the dozens of radiator heads in the building. It controls the heat distribution.
Dystrybucją ciepła. Na obiekcie
There are
znajduje się
25 Loxone motion and occupancy sensors in the building. They are used to control, among other things, the lighting system. In addition, they give us valuable information about where people are at any given moment, so we have information about which shelves in the store customers are most often between.
w sklepie najczęściej znajdują się klienci. Oprócz budynku,
In addition to the building, the heat is also supplied to the car wash, which is located close to the building. This is a car wash equipped only with heat from this shopping center facility. For the vast majority of the year, this heat comes from renewable energy sources, either from the shop's air conditioning and refrigeration recovery system or from solar collectors.
chłodzenia w sklepie albo kolektory słoneczne. Pozostałymi
Another
elementami
feature of the Loxone system in this building is the DALI smart lighting control. We have luminaires here, each of which is controllable. We control their dimming by receiving control signals from occupancy and brightness sensors located around the building. If the brightness is high enough, the light switch is off. If there is nobody in that zone, the lights do not turn on. This also results in significant energy and monetary savings in the building.
użytkownika też to światło jest włączone. Na tym też bardzo dużą oszczędność w tym budynku udało się zrobić.
Loxone was chosen for this building because it offers a fully comprehensive solution, in which it can connect to virtually any device, and has such universal communication with different technologies on the market, which makes it very easy for us to control any devices that we should want to implement into the system, here, at the shopping center.
Kwestia, która jest istotna, to jest to, że tak naprawdę wbrew pozorom na rynku wcale nie ma...
The second thing that has been extremely important for us is that, contrary to what you might think, there are not many systems on the market for managing energy in the complex way that we have here in the building. It's a different thing to manage energy in a house where we just have normal lighting and sockets and stuff like this. But here, in the shopping center, we already have devices like furnaces, heat pumps, solar panels, cogeneration, heat recovery, and so the system really has a very complicated infrastructure and mechanics that have to be managed efficiently and without failure in order for this building to operate unattended. After lots of research, Loxone seemed to be the best solution for us on the market, as it had the capabilities to manage the complex system already in place. It also allows us to expand the system as and when we want to in the future, and it is all visualized simply and easily through the app. So this was the direction we decided to go.
Ocenię spełnią te nasze oczekiwania i inwestujemy
And after
w
initial
niego
testing and evaluation, the Loxone system has more than met our expectations, and by installing it here, I can safely say that we have not made a mistake with our choice. It has fully met our expectations and we are very satisfied with the system and install. The system we have here works just how we want it to. It is possible, however, that if we develop this further here, in the future, with some new investment ideas, we will also definitely extend our Loxone system so that all these additional elements will also appear in the management system. Moreover, the interface and configuration of the whole system is so cool and intuitive that we can easily build up a picture of different statistics in order to know, for example, the temperature of the building and the current energy consumption. This does not have just benefits for me as the investor, however, it is also really great from the side of the tenant users, who are not programmers, as it works very visually and intuitively so they can find their way around and get up the information that they want to see easily. Pretty much anyone can do it, it's really simple. Everything can be built and visualized in a straightforward manner. And it's so cool and clear how we can enter through a mobile app that allows us to access the system remotely, and we're able to see how it's behaving, what's going on in the building, what temperature we have, what devices are working, which ones we need to get working again and which ones don't need to be on. We can see all of this information from anywhere in the world,
So although the facility is unattended, someone can always be keeping an eye remotely, and if something were to happen in the building, like a water leak, those in charge of the building will be notified, so they can sort the issue out. Also, Loxone config logic is amazing, plus we can do it ourselves, which allows us to pretty much do anything that we want.
Że możemy praktycznie zrobić wszystko.